a couple of questions for you today. First one is, how many of you want to obey God? You can wave your hand at me, nod, acknowledge in your thinking, whatever. Do you want to obey God? Okay, now let me ask you another question. Do you think you're doing a good job at obeying God now? I'd be interested to hear what you said, but when I asked this question in a recent church service and a couple of different gatherings, probably about 85, 90% of the people, 100% of the people raise their hand, yeah, I want to obey God. But 85 to 90% of the people raise their hand and say, I don't feel like I'm doing a very good job of obeying God. So here's my question to you to follow up with. If you feel like you're not doing a very good job of obeying God, why? What does obedience, or what does it mean to you to obey? And why do you think you're not doing a very good job at it? So you might not be, but it's probably for reasons that are more associated with your performance than your capacity to connect with God at a heart level. See, God is a heart God, and what God is after is obedience from the heart. Obedience in the Hebrew and in the Greek, about 90% of the time, the words that are translated have to do with listening, hearkening to, or in the Greek specifically, being persuaded, being convinced, or being confident in. It even means to give credit to. So you may not be doing a very good job of obeying God, but not because you're not doing things the right way, but because maybe you're not listening to Him and being led by Him and being influenced by Him, which is really what grace is. So if you are obeying God well, you are actually living under grace, God's influence, because what He's trying to do is influence your heart, which does produce outward compliance with what He would inwardly invite you to do. But see, our problem with our understanding of obedience is we think there's penalty associated with it if we don't do it well. So we think that if we don't obey, God's going to punish us or God's going to withhold something from us. See, the truth is, if you don't obey God, there's no penalty associated with it. There's only missing a blessing. God's trying to lead you into everything that He's already given you in Christ. He's made every promise available, and He's trying to lead you from the heart so that you will be persuaded that His promises are for you. You will be confident in the finished work of Christ, and you will walk into the manifestation of a spiritual promise that He's already given you. So I challenge you, as you live out your days this week, ask yourself, am I obedient? But what you're really asking yourself is, am I listening to God? And I don't mean trying to discern a voice. I just mean, are you focused on His promises, His truth, His favor, the fact that Him in you empowers you to do anything that you believe is possible, and not be worried if you don't do it just the right way that maybe you're not going to receive that blessing, but realize God has already blessed me. And if I will just be confident in what He's already done for me, I will think like Him, my mind will be renewed, and I will be open to be led by Him, and I will experience the blessings that He has because I will be obedient from the heart and follow Him in confidence.